I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Autumn is upon us, and to honor the season and the arts, the Guild of Artists and Artisans hosted an annual fair with Oktoberfest flair.
We're here at 82 Artoberfest. This is our fourth annual fine art fair here in downtown Ann Arbor.
There are 80 or so artists here, all different kinds. Photographers, you've got ceramics folks, textiles, that kind of thing.
Ann Arbor is an artsy town, so people come out, and even if they don't buy anything, they look, they learn about the artwork, and they support us with compliments and curiosity.
We've got our neighborhood partners who come out for this event, including the Hands-On Museum, and they've got a tent out and they're doing magnet painting, which is really cool, a combination of science and the arts. We've got the mask making in the Gutman Gallery for kids as well. You can grab a drink at our beer tent, that's kind of the Oktoberfest about it, and then walk around our entire fair and shop the artwork.
I'm so excited and honored. This is my first time at the Artoberfest. It's an honor to be here and an honor to receive an award for hard work and dedication to sustainability. I make a variety of jewelry and wearables. I do a lot of recycled metals within my work and mixed metals, copper, brass, sterling silver, and a variety of stones and other materials.
Even if you go to the same place out in nature, you could look in a different direction and see something completely different. The weather could change and it could be completely different. So every time I go out, it feels like, even if I've been to the same spot, it's a brand new experience every time. And I try and make that come through in my photography.
I think they should check out Artoberfest to have their mind expand visually and also in learning about artists and the different way they think and why they do the mediums they're doing.
A lot of great art lovers down here. Yeah, just a lot of people looking to share their gift with other people and make a connection.
For more on Artoberfest or the Guild of Artists and Artisans, visit theguild.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. The city is home to more than 160 must-see parks with scenic views, places to play, and some top-notch facilities. See all that Postmans Rest Park has during this Park Peak.
Postman's Rest is a small city park that remains neatly wooded at the corner of Vinewood Boulevard and Wayne Street just south of downtown Ann Arbor. The park is accessible on foot and bicycle using the surrounding neighborhood streets. The park is a short walk from Prairie Park, Douglas Park, and George Washington Park to the northwest along Washtenaw Avenue. It features a paved path through the park, a picnic table, a bench, and a swinging bench. Postman's Rest Park provides a small, shaded, green space for neighbors and visitors to stop and relax. For more information about Postman's Rest Park or other city parks, visit a2gov.org/parkfinder.
Questions are the first step to find solutions to most issues, and now the city is utilizing an AI virtual assistant to help with municipal needs. Learn how to activate Ask Ann in this month's City Roundup.
The City of Ann Arbor has launched Ask Ann, a fully integrated and automated web chat assistant that helps people find information from the city 24/7. Ask Ann is built into a2gov.org, utilizing the technology behind large language models, or conversational artificial intelligence, which makes it easier for anyone to get quick answers to questions and find detailed information. Ask Ann understands and communicates proficiently in 71 different languages. To chat with Ask Ann, visit a2gov.org on a computer, tablet, or phone, and Ask Ann will appear on the bottom right section of your browser. Clicking the Ask Ann icon launches the chat window. Ask Ann also gives people the ability to message city staff if they can't get their question answered or are having difficulty. Want to know? Ask Ann.
The holidays can be stressful, but there's undeniable magic during the season of lights. For Eleanor Thurgood and her mother Joan, Christmas takes a wild turn as a special gift changes everything with old flames, illusions, and secrets collide during this romantic comedy. Joining me is Laura Bird, director of PTD's A Very Shakespeare Christmas. Welcome back to the show, Laura.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about this show. This is the first time this show has been to the stage.
Yes, it is a world premiere by our very own PJ Salons, or AKA PS Drake is her nom de plume. And I was over at her house. She was workshopping the play. Just playwrights learn a lot by hearing the words spoken aloud by people. And it was definitely a script in development, but it was so impressive. It felt almost Neil Simon like, or Larry Shue like in its rhythm and the quality of its humor. So I was really deeply impressed, and asked if I could direct it. I wanted to propose it for the next season, which is this season now. And PJ was delighted and offered to be my assistant director. And that just thrilled the bejeebers out of me, because that's not something you get to do in educational theater much, is work with a playwright at your side. It's a thing in professional theater, but not so much in educational or community theater. And we've had so much fun. Things like an actor stumbling over the same line a few times, and PJ and I both realizing that although it reads well, it doesn't speak well. So refining that, bringing different visions to it. I thought of funny things, and she brought funny things, and there's lots of funny things. So, and just to be able to say something like, "Hey, there's a tree that gets cut down off stage. What if we bring that on stage somehow?" Yes, never thought of that. Yay. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of freedom in having the playwright be so closely connected to it. Because I know when you're getting a play that you have to get the rights to from someone, there's more complication involved than like having someone like this homegrown playwright right next to you.
Right. And though PJ is homegrown, she's starting to win awards for some of her shorter works in New York. She's an up and comer. I'm going to be able to say in a decade or so, oh, I knew her when.
Oh,
She,
that's amazing. I mean, I
yeah.
was actually curious myself. How often is it that you get someone that is local that writes a play that actually gets to bring it to the PTD stage?
We will sometimes get submissions, and of, varying quality. And we've had some really good ones. And it depends, because you have to find a director as passionate about it as the playwright. And if we've never worked with you before and you're just bringing a play, and all you and you want to direct it, and there's some risks with taking somebody whose main interest is just their play and not necessarily the production in PTD. So we try and find that balance. PJ's on our board. So all that lovely social media that we've upped our game on, that's PJ too. So she's just an incredible superhuman. She also has a 2-year-old. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, how do you have the time to go right when you're taking care
Yeah,
of a 2-year-old?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and just always positive, always a delight to be around. But I mean, there were some times where I was like, oh, I don't like that, and she'd go, oh, but I do.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was some pushing and pulling, and usually I yielded to her sensibilities because she knows the play. It's rare to work with someone who knows when you're a good director who gets to know the play. It's rare to work with someone who knows the play better than you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
nice, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit, tell us a synopsis of the play and what sort of makes it Shakespearean.
Well, there's one kind of conceit that runs the whole snowball effect. There is a book of the complete works of William Shakespeare that accidentally gets a sleeping potion spilled on it. It's a potion that will give you vivid dreams. And anybody who becomes unconscious, and it happens at least 3 times, gets sent back to a different Shakespearean play. So they're still in the clothes that they fell asleep in, but now everybody's coming in Shakespearean garb. And it's the same characters that are in real life that come into these Shakespeare dreams. But you get to, and the Shakespeare dreams also echo situations that are happening in real life. And so those two mirror and echo each other in very clever and funny ways. And also PJ, like many playwrights who, I mean, putting bits and pieces of Shakespeare into a play is not an original idea. And playwrights love it so much because they get to pick and choose all this wonderful language without having to worry about keeping an audience less familiar, perhaps, with that language involved in it for 2.5 hours straight. So we have highlights from As You Like It, Romeo and Juliet, and the play whose name should not be said, uh, uh, known as Mackers, or in this case, McBeasy.
Hmm.
And we have fun with that theater superstition as well. So, um, uh, but if you don't know the plots of those plays, you're going to be just fine. If you don't tune in well to Shakespearean language, you're going to be just fine.
Well, that
Uh,
was my other question. I mean, you obviously mentioned, I mean, when we think about Shakespeare, we think about the way the dialogue is. So obviously, that's like a big part of Shakespeare. And sometimes, depending on the play, it can be sort of hard to follow along with it if you're not connected to it in some sort of way. But you're saying that's like really a moot point in the situation. The story is easy to follow.
yes, you're because everything was echoing and mirroring, you may leave with a better understanding of some of these shows. Who knows? Or at least a warped and twisted one. Yeah, you're gonna, as I said, be just fine and get to enjoy some really lovely poetry in manageable hunks. So uh
I also think it's nice for people like my father-in-law is since deceased, but he was like he used to teach Shakespeare classes at EMU, and he was like such a William Shakespeare guy. And I swear something like this for someone that's so into it and loves it is also it's like a gem in itself for those people because they've seen all the works, they know his work so well. So to have someone write something intelligently that is fun to watch has to be very entertaining.
yes, yes, for those of us who really get into it, it's exactly what yeah, I don't think I could say that better. Uh, uh, it's just wonderful to hear that poetry, and so much fun for P.S. Drake to bring it in a clever way and
Mhm.
surprise you with it.
I also feel like for the playwright, it has to be a daunting task to deal with Shakespeare because people expect something certain of Shakespeare. Like they expect a certain sort of quality, I think. And if you're taking Shakespeare's words and then or his essence, I guess you could say in this sense, and then making it into something different, you really have to try to impress people. It feels daunting, I'm sure.
Yeah, here, compare my words with his words.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she's an Energizer bunny and very brave.
Because speaking of which, there is going to be a talk back, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. What day is
Yes.
that? Tell me a little bit about that part of the production.
Well, a talk back is someone comes up after the show and the audience is free to ask questions. And that is one factoid I did not exactly sure when the talk back is. Hopefully we
I think
can.
it's on the website, so you can check out PTD's
Yeah.
website
All right.
to learn
Yes.
more about that. If
And
that's the day that you want to, have a little
if you want to
in-depth
come.
conversation. Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be mostly focused on PJ, but I'll be around too in case you have questions for me. And we generally, have questions that range from how did you learn all those lines to some things a little more involved with the actual production and the work we do. So,
Like you said, most of these plays, the playwrights aren't local, so you're not actually getting the person that wrote it there. So
right.
you get the director, the assistant director, and double duty playwright.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty cool.
most definitely.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the show is a holiday show and the
Right.
holidays are coming up. So why should
Yes, they
people
are.
this is tell me about the essence it gives of the holiday season and why this is a great show to sort of check out during November.
Uh, the main character is desperately getting Joan, Thurgood, played by Carrie Warala, uh, is desperately trying to get her house clean for the relatives to come over for Christmas. Family clean, not just, like mother-in-law clean or whatever. In
Yeah,
this case,
like professionally cleaned, basically.
yeah, it's Aunt Susan. It's Joan's Aunt Susan who's going to be checking the top of the refrigerator for dust. We all have an Aunt Susan. Uh, Perhaps even the playwright does. But uh, the and her daughter, who's been trying to make it as a professional actress, is home. She kind of hit a dead end in LA and is home to stay. She's out of work. She tells an ex-boyfriend that she's just home for the holidays because she doesn't want to admit that her agent has dropped her. And it's also coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the patriarch of the family's death. So Jim was Joan's deceased husband and Eleanor's father, and Joan and Jim ran a theater, and Eleanor was raised in the theater and has been trying to make it as a professional actress. Eleanor is played by Bree Tomzak. She's new to our company, a recent graduate of Hope College theater program, and she's been a delight to work with. Carrie worked with before, who plays Joan. Jim Thurgood is somebody new to our company and new to me. His name is Scott Steckschulte, and he comes out of the Ohio area. And Jim didn't exist when I first heard this play at that workshop at PJ's house. One of the things, once I knew that this was really going to happen, I was looking at the structure of the play, and as a playwright, it's easy to have people change costumes in an instant, but in reality, it's a little more difficult. And people were bopping in and out of modern day clothing into Elizabethan or other period garb pretty quickly. And I said, some of the costume changes were just impossible, no matter
Mhm.
how you got, unless you had a holodeck, you weren't gonna be able
Yeah.
to do it. So the character of Jim got invented. He'd been talked about, so he was a presence in the play, but now he's this sort of living dead man. He's not a zombie, but he's a ghost. He's a memory. He interacts. He narrates, and he very conveniently happens to do this between scenes where the costume changes have to happen. So that was a big change to the script. And I also asked that the character of Lydia, who is Joan's sister and Eleanor's aunt, get a little more developed. She's the alternative medicine practitioner, aka witch, who brings the potion into the plot to begin with. And both changes to the script, the addition of Jim and the expansion of Lydia, really upped what I thought was an excellent script even more. And there's just some amazing scenes with both those characters for you to look forward to. Rounding out the cast is Jerry Doty, who plays Mysterious Man, otherwise known as Steve Stevenson. And he's a financial advisor who is trying to help the Thorogood family. And he gets kind of caught up in the craziness and ends up in the middle of Midsummer Night's Dream against his will. And we have a lot of fun with that. So
When is the show?
the show opens November 14th and plays through the 23rd, with Thursday through Saturday is a 7:30 curtain time, which is new this season.
I like the
So
7:30. I think it's nice.
yeah. And then the 25th through the 23rd, also Thursday through Saturday at 7:30. And then there are two matinees on the 17th, which is a Sunday at 2 o'clock. And on the 20th, which is Wednesday for retired people who want to go out in the daylight and not drive in this post-daylight savings time light,
Well,
on Wednesday at 2. And that's all at the Riverside Arts Center on 76 North Huron Street. And you can find out all this information, plus when that talkback is, at our website, ptdproductions.com.
well, we're just about out of time. Why should people come to the show? I mean, one thing that I personally was thinking about when you were talking is that I think everyone's got a little bit experience with Shakespeare, so that part's great. But the
Mhm.
other part is, I think that during this time of year, we can all resonate with this like family holiday stress and all that. And I feel like that always, like in my viewing pleasures during the holiday season, I feel like I love watching that stuff. It makes me laugh, it makes me relate to it and all that. So,
Right. Any Christmas stress you have will fade in comparison to what Joan is going through and her family, considering that everybody goes in and out of a dream state at the drop of a book. But actually, Joan has one of my favorite lines. She says, "It's Christmas. If I wasn't stressed, I'd be dead."
yes.
This will hopefully keep you alive by reducing some of that holiday stress. Come see us, laugh about it all, and then go back to your own holiday with the right perspective on what the really important things are: love and family.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura. It sounds like a great show. And I feel like this is absolutely a show you have to go see because this is a world premiere. And like you said, this playwright's going to skyrocket. You can say,
Yeah.
I saw her play when.
Yeah. Yep. We even had people wanting to audition just because it was a P.S. Drake show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the schedule didn't work out for those two actors who called me, but they were sad about that. But yep, she's an up and comer. We're lucky to have her.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.